Thank you for everything. And we're sending prayers to everyone in Minnesota as well as all over the world. So yeah. So welcome everyone. Welcome particularly to those who are new. This is indeed Medicine Buddha. Today is of course the federal national observance of Dr. King's birthday weekend, and today the holiday national holiday here in the United States. And as most of you know, so I talk about this anyway. I mean, I live close to where Dr. King was born, just kind of down the street, less than a mile from here, which is where his national memorial site is, and Ebenezer Church, both of them, the old and the new one. And so it's been a lot of like activity here in Atlanta, and it always is in Georgia. When I was growing up, we did a lot on the weekends um, for Dr. King's birthday, which is really beautiful. It was a really special experience having this happen every year when I was growing up. And, today, as I often, we often start MLK practice or MLK Day practice with the same, kind of music, his speech, and Nina Simone, who was really, I think, at the forefront of um, protest music, using her platform, her arts to bring awareness and taking on the burden as a Black woman in the music industry. That we absolutely know that it had a detrimental impact on her mental health and her physical health as well. And so we honor not just all the Dr. Kings. I think, of course, there are so many Dr. Kings, great people who create a lot of change, from Dr. King to Harriet Tubman and so forth. I talk about Harriet all the time, but we want to honor all those folks who don't have national holidays, right? All the people around the world in many different cultures who worked, who fought, who embodied real justice and liberation for their communities, for their cultures, who will not be known, like, but we honor them. This is the work that we do in Free Radicals um, as well. And this is also the work of liberation is also the work of healing. Dr. King was a healer, just like everyone. You can't talk about liberation without talking about healing, right? We have to get free from the ways in which we are, well, dismembered, right? And our healing is really rooted in the work and the practice of remembering, coming back together, right? Which is what the practice of Medicine Buddha is about, is remembering what we are, right? It's not the goal necessarily isn't to feel better, to heal from something, to have certain conditions met or to have our prayers answered. That's one of the ways that the practice works. But ultimately, what we're doing is practicing remembrance, both coming back together and also a recalling of what we are, that we're already free, right? And that we just forgot that, we got distracted from it, right? This is ultimately what Medicine Buddha and really what all the Buddhas are doing, is helping us to remember, right? So on days like this, we remember, we do a little, we offer a little more effort in remembering, right? We remember all the great ones who came to this world as bodhisattvas. We call them bodhisattvas. Bodhisattva doesn't really exist outside of this realm. But you enter into this realm. This is the label, at least in Buddhism, right? That you get as the bodhisattva, as a being, a realized being that goes to where the pain is, that goes to the suffering, that goes to the struggle, that goes to the conflicts and tries to help, right? That's all a bodhisattva does. A bodhisattva isn't, you don't become a bodhisattva because you're getting people awakened or enlightened, right? that's wonderful when the bodhisattva does that, but the real work of the bodhisattva is to show up and to do what they can. That's it. And to keep doing that over and over and over again until liberation, until freedom happens. Right. And I know some of us really struggle, and we've been having these conversations about why am I here? Why, why am I experiencing this? Right. And so many of us are here because we chose to be here. Right. You being with me and Medicine Buddha on a Monday evening or Monday night or Monday morning, wherever you are in the world, or Tuesday morning, I guess, if you're in the other hemisphere, right? Um, like this isn't an accident. This isn't random. Like Buddhism doesn't do random. It doesn't do coincidence. Like everything is charted by karma. Karma again is created through choice, through response, and also through reactivity, by the way, right? Like we created the causes and conditions to be here. So you chose to be here well before you knew you were going to be here. So you're in this world. Maybe you forgot, which I don't think is forgetting. I think it's like that kind of consciousness was severed, right? When you kind of dip into the dream, because this is a low vibration situation right now. So for conscious beings to come into samsara, they have to kind of tone down their vibration. Right. And I think one of the consequences is that you forget, you lose memory, expansive awareness, right? And so we maybe have forgotten or we're disconnected from the fact that we chose to be here, but we still chose it, right? And for me, as I've been talking about for a couple of weeks, I really strongly connect to this aspiration to be here, right? And that's what I take refuge in, right? I chose this and I trust myself to have chosen this. I wouldn't have chosen this if I didn't have what I needed, nor would you. Right. And I think practices like the seven homecomings practice, as well as all the deity practices, really remind us that we are well resourced if we can only ask for that support. Because we have to do our part here. Like we have to ask. Right. I know we sit around and like we just sit around and wait for the blessings to rain on top of us. I mean, I think that's wonderful, and blessings are raining on top of us. We're alive. As my mama would say, you're alive right now. That's a blessing. Right? So blessings are happening, but let's like shake the tree a little more and start asking for much more because we still don't have all that we need. Right? You need energy, you need money, right? You need safety, right? We all need that. And let's continue to ask for that. And this is why we have our prayers. And by the way, go ahead and put those prayers in the doc because I'm going to get started pretty soon, right? So I want you to be focused when we start practice, but the prayers help to focus, right? You listen to Dr. King's speech, he gave many, many speeches, right? I don't know the number of speeches that he gave, but hundreds and hundreds, right? And in so much of his speaking, there was always a vision, right? The mountaintop, which is probably one of the most potent, kind of like symbols, right? And kind of like American like rhetorical history, particularly like justice and political history and movements, right? I've been to the mountaintop. Like I have a dream, right? What's your dream, right? And this isn't new, particularly for those of you who've been around, like we talk about this all the time. What's your dream, right? What did I say yesterday in Sunday service? What's your ethic? The same thing. Like, what's your dream? What's your ethic? What are you trying to do? What's your goal? Are you here just hanging out, or do you have a mission? You do have a mission, right? Your mission is to get free and to help others get free. You wouldn't, again, be here in this moment, in this program, in this practice session, if that aspiration wasn't there, because that's all I'm doing is helping us get free, right? My goal isn't for you to be happy, to necessarily be comfortable, right? This isn't new either. This is old stuff, right? But like I'm not here for your happiness, I'm here for your freedom, right? I let go of wanting to be happy years ago. This is not to say that I'm not happy. But when I came into practice, I knew early on, that happiness would just be a dead end. And that I needed to use this opportunity, this very precious, rare opportunity of practice to go all the way, to go all the way. Don't waste the Dharma by seeking comfort or validation or happiness. Don't use the Dharma to look good, right? Or to have good skin, to have nice nails, right? And it's wonderful if all that happens, right? The happiness, the comfort, all that, that's wonderful. Don't get me wrong, I'm not anti any of that. But don't, as well, right? As Tyra Banks says, don't rest on pretty, right? There's more than just pretty in practice, right? Go all the way, right? Go to the end, right? As the Gate mantra, right? And the Heart Sutra says, Gate Gate, Parasam Gate Bodhisoha, go all the way, go beyond beyond. Go to the edge and go beyond the edge. Keep going, right? And if you shoot for it all, if you go to the very end, on the journey, everything will happen. The joy will happen, the happiness will happen, right? The good skin, the nice nails, and the great hair will happen, right? Maybe, whatever you're afraid of not getting is going to happen, right? Because the great and wonderful thing about this is that whatever happens, you're not going to be attached to it. Because if you're going all the way, then you are developing deep insight into the nature of everything. So you see and abide and attune to the illusion of everything. So though it's nice to have certain things, in this realm, right? You know that this is just an illusion. And that the only real thing, the most important thing that any being could ever do in samsara is to get the fuck out of here and to bring as many beings with you as possible. That is the meaning of life, right? We can get philosophical and say, oh, the meaning of life is to develop wisdom and all of this and learn all these lessons. Yeah, that's happening. That's all going to happen, you know. But what's the point of learning a lesson when the real goal isn't complete liberation, right? Like you have to abolish your experience of samsara, right? Because we can't collectively abolish this. That's impossible. Samsara is personal and very individual. And of course, our individual experience of samsara, our delusion, our ignorance, however you want to phrase that, joins with other people's delusion that creates a collective samsara, a collective delusion. Great. But like me, we individually have to choose this liberation for ourselves and work towards that liberation for ourselves. And at the same time, creating community where we're supporting each other and getting free. right? This is the only worthwhile goal to be here. I'm not here to have fun, right? I'm not here to kiki. I'm not here, to like, hang out, right? It's fun, don't get me wrong. Like, pleasure is wonderful, fun is great, like, don't get me wrong. However, at the same time, I can go experience bliss somewhere outside of this delusion, right? And that's what I'm working on. I'm here to do my part as well as you are. You're here to do your part as well, you know. And if you're confused, just nod and say, yes, you're right. It's helpful. It speeds up the process. You fake it till you make it, right? Right. This is the only important thing that needs to be happening is that we're working to get free, right? To use the resources that we have to help people, to disrupt, to abolish, right? To stand up, to organize, to resist, and to do all of this rooted in an ethic of love. Because that is the only thing, love, compassion, right? These boundless qualities, right, that we would call in Buddhism. These are the only tools that can do the job. Love, compassion, generosity, wisdom, kindness, equanimity. I think I got them all. That almost never happens, but these are the tools, right? We arm ourselves with the fiercest love and care, and we do our parts. And then when it's time for us to transition, right, from this realm to return back to consciousness, to spirit, and so forth, then we can say, yeah, I did my part, just like Dr. King. Because in that little excerpt of the speech, he was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And he died. I think this speech was from 68, and he died very soon after he was killed, right? Right. He was ready to go. To get to the point of your life where you're like, you know what, I've done my work, right? Which is rare. you know, I've done my work. And to let this life go and to open to the next life, to the returning back to spirit, right? We we have to do our parts, right? And as we were talking about this morning in the winter hours, we talked about James Baldwin, um, and how James Baldwin, he has this quote that says that, the world has only been saved by a handful of people loving, which is not quite the quote. I added a whole bunch of words. Baldwin could say something really precisely, and it takes a paragraph to get there. Held together, right? The world has only been held together by a handful of people loving, right? And oh, I just heard another quote too today, about if you're not ready to love, you're not ready to work. If you're not loving, you're not working. That's the kind of the essence of that quote. I forget if that's from someone, um, but if you're not willing to embody love, then you're not here to help. Fuck it, it's gonna be my quote now. That's it. If I've altered it enough so I can take responsibility for it now. If you're not here to embody love, you're not here to work. Well, no, that's not it. If you're not embodying love, you're not here. You're not working. I forget what I said. Anyway, one of you remembered it. Um, so and this is what we're doing, right? This is the practice that we come into tonight. So welcome to Medicine Buddha, and let's continue working, right? Um, right. If you're not willing to embody love, then you're not here to help. That's great. Thank you. Eric, go ahead and cut and paste that and send that to me. So tonight we're going to be working through a couple of deities. Prepare yourself. And we're gonna do protection work because as you know, I always forget. So if I say it, we're gonna do it, and I'm gonna keep it at the forefront of my mind. We're gonna start just working through some, working with Medicine Buddha. Then we're gonna like segue a little bit into Tara, right? All the mantras will be in the chat as we come to them. And then we're gonna return back to Durga. We haven't done Durga in years. I know, because I keep forgetting. So, and Durga, a manifestation of an expression of the Great Mother or the Sacred Mother, like Tara and Kali and so forth. Durga is fierce, embodying a real kind of love. Durga was given to me by one of my swamis, also as a healing mantra. I think that healing is also about protection as well. So we used to practice this years ago. So we're gonna go right back into it, tonight. All right. So let's get started. All right. And go ahead and find your seat. Go ahead and, actually find a comfortable position if you don't already do that. And we'll be moving a little quickly too, right? So the pace, I'm gonna heat up the pace a little bit and see what happens, right? So finding your seat, finding your position, feeling the surface of what you're sitting on, lying on, standing on, feeling that surface rise to hold you. And so coming once again into this position of being held, allowing the seat to hold you. I'm gonna light our practice candle, well, my practice candle, but it's our collective practice candle for this session. Mm. And as we talked about yesterday in Sunday service, we honor the light as well as the darkness. There could be no light without first honoring and recognizing the darkness. That the darkness isn't necessarily evil or bad, but the darkness represents maybe places we haven't learned to abide in, to understand. And so we misunderstand what is dark and call it evil or bad, when in fact it is another form of sacred medicine along with the light. And we honor the light as well as an expression, a symbol of clarity, of fierceness. You are the light of the world. Your love lights the path for real freedom to happen, for real remembrance and healing to come about. And as we begin our practice, I offer this prayer on behalf of all of us. And I call to all the great beings, all of our benefactors, all the great Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all the great saints, to all of our benevolent ancestors, to all the guardians and spirits of the lands and the elements that are holding us. And I acknowledge on behalf of all of us that we all come with the deepest intentions to be of benefit for ourselves and for all beings, that our deepest, most important aspiration is to get free on behalf and for all beings. And that we pray that you bless us, that you remind us of this sacred vow of liberation on behalf of all beings, this great vow and awakening of bodhicitta, this attitude that everything that we do and everything that we are is for the ultimate liberation of all beings from the cycle of suffering. We pray that you clear our path of practice as we embrace the great Buddhas that we're calling upon, and the great deities. May we awaken as quickly as possible. May it be so. And so when you're ready, I invite you to imagine that this light, this flame, begins to awaken within your heart center. Feeling this light, imagining this light, or just trusting that this light begins to awaken is enough. But knowing that this light is always present, always radiant within our heart centers. This is, again, the expression of clarity, of fierceness, of openness, the light that guides our path to our healing and remembrance, which is our liberation. And slowly we allow this light to radiate through our bodies. And we imagine ourselves just softly glowing. And that radiance begins to radiate from our bodies and flood and radiate into the space around us. And that the rooms or the spaces that we're practicing in begin to dissolve. Everything begins to dissolve in the brilliance of this radiance coming from our heart centers and our bodies. And everything around us dissolves into an emptiness. And within this emptiness, we begin to imagine stars becoming visible as if we're floating in space. And these stars begin to form, to take shape as our benefactors. And our benefactors are just beings who love us, who want us to be free. They can be a living beings that we're in a relationship with. They can be beings that have transitioned on. They can be deities, animals, plants. They can be ancestors, Buddhas, deities, it's manifestations of the sacred mother and the sacred father. And you don't have to see your benefactors clearly, but we're just opening up the space that allows their presence to draw closer to us in practice. And they're taking shape, they're taking form bit by bit. And eventually we get to the space, this experience where we feel deeply surrounded and held by these benefactors. And these benefactors are themselves glowing, sparkling like stars, and their radiance is the radiance of their care, their love for us. And they are holding the space. They're holding us as we begin to move deeper into relationship with the Buddhas that we're practicing with. And so when you're ready, we turn our attention to to the opening mantra, Medicine Buddha's opening mantra, Om Minla Sangye Kino Soha, Medicine Buddha, I pray that you know and look upon me now. And we're going to chant this starting with then chanting the mantra 3 times, then ending with And as we chant, I invite you to imagine that just in the space above your head, Medicine Buddha begins to awaken, to manifest in whatever form Medicine Buddha is arising for you, right? And Medicine Buddha can take on his iconic form that we see on our prayer dock. Medicine Buddha can take on the form of any embodiment that symbolizes profound ultimate healing for you. Or Medicine Buddha can be a thought or a feeling. So just noticing what form Medicine Buddha naturally takes for you, not forcing anything, but allowing Medicine Buddha to take form above us. And so we began with our mantra, and again with Om La Sange Kino Soa Om La Sange Kino Soa Om La Sange Kino Soa And behold, Medicine Buddha has entered the room. And just feeling into this awakening of Medicine Buddha above you in whatever form Medicine Buddha has taken. And as we allow Medicine Buddha to take this form, we go much deeper now. And I invite you to offer your deepest aspirations for yourself and for all beings to Medicine Buddha. What do you need to see? What kind of healing do you need to see that will facilitate your work of liberation for yourself and for all beings? What do you need to see specifically? And offer that aspiration with as much faith as possible. Just a few more seconds to offer that aspiration before we continue. And so when you're ready, we imagine that Medicine Buddha receives this aspiration, this prayer from you, and responds. And we imagine that in that response, Medicine Buddha begins to radiate with this beautiful, fierce, white light. And the light can be blue or white, if that makes a difference. But Medicine Buddha is radiating with this light. And we imagine that this light becomes so heavy, so full, that it begins to flow from Medicine Buddha like a stream of like honey or syrup, something thick, but slowly beginning to drip. This white, radiant energy begins to drip, stream from Medicine Buddha's essence or body down into the top of our heads. And we're going to be just imagining this radiance, this light streaming down through this basic chakra system, that line that goes down the body from the seventh chakra down to the root chakra in our sit bones. So this energy begins to flood, to stream into our seventh chakra at the very top of our heads, filling that chakra with this healing, cleansing energy. And in doing so, our connection to emptiness, to the sacred, to the divine, to the more than human realms and experiences strengthens. We feel the clarity, the connectedness to all of our benefactors and to emptiness itself. And this stream of healing energy now begins to stream into our sixth chakra, into the divine eye, the sacred eye between our eyebrows. And in doing so, opening our capacity to see, to experience, to intuit into the very nature of things. In the illusion of all phenomena. This energy now begins to stream into our throat chakra, and our speech is awakened. That we are aligned with truth, with directness, with kindness, honesty. And now this energy streams down into our heart chakras. And as it does so, opening our capacity to feel, to experience, to give rise to transformative empathy, leading to compassion. Our heart, which is boundless, without limits, opening to the experiences of not just ourselves, but the collective. Our heart that holds everything and feels so much, including the brokenheartedness. Allowing the heart to remind us that we are not the only ones struggling to make sense of things, to be well, right, to be happy, and so forth. We are not alone. And now we imagine the stream of energy moving down into our solar plexus, right in our lower stomach and our navel button area. And as it does so, opening our capacity to choose, to have agency, to get clear about what it is that we're trying to do and to bring about the accomplishment of that goal. That we in this chakra are choosing to be free. That we choose it for ourselves. And that as we choose it for ourselves, we are inspiring others to make the same choice for themselves as well. Now we imagine this energy flooding down, streaming down into our second chakra, into our pelvis area, into the chakra of enjoyment, connectivity, intimacy. May our pleasure arise and awaken as yet another vehicle for healing and freedom. May we be healed from the traumas experienced from sexuality, from abuse, and may our pleasure as liberation be restored, not just for ourselves, but for all of our ancestors. And now we imagine the stream of energy streaming down into our root chakra, our base chakra, right in our sit bones, our pelvis, at the root of our spines, our spinal column, our tailbones. Opening this experience of home, safety, groundedness, bringing us closer to the earth. which is all of our homes. May we feel deeply held, protected. May we be at home in our bodies. May we find home somewhere in this world. May we find home in our relationships. May we find home in our workplaces, our families. May we just find home. And now we imagine a stream of energy streaming down to the earth. And as this energy touches the earth, we greet the land holding us. The Great Mother. And the earth is filled with the blessings of Medicine Buddha. It's filled with our gratitude that has been incorporated into the blessings of Medicine Buddha. The earth is full of medicine. This medicine is awakening for us and all beings. And we are grateful for that. And the earth, the land, is energized, active, vibrant. And so slowly, the earth, the land, begins to offer back to us. And we feel the blessings of the earth, its medicine, beginning to lift and rise into us from our sit bones up into our bodies, as if there's steam rising or a gentle mist rising to fill our bodies. This is the healing blessing of the earth. And so we're going to begin to move into our second mantra, Medicine Buddha's main mantra. Teata bekenze maha bekenze rasa sumongate soha. And we're going to be splitting the first part of the session before our prayers into maybe two parts. Right? So in this first part, we're opening to the mantra and just sitting within this energy, sitting held by our benefactors, still feeling the stream of energy moving down through us from Medicine Buddha down into the earth, and also feeling the response of the earth as the earth, the land, the mother offers back to us this healing energy. And we begin here, sitting in this just for a few minutes in the first part of this mantra practice. Okay, and we begin. O te ata begenze ma begenze rasa sumungate soha te anda begenze ma begenze rasa sumungate soha te anda begenze ma begenze rasa sumungare zoha te anda begenze ma begenze rasa sumungate zoha te anda begenze ma begenze rasa sumungare zoha te anda begenze ma begenze rasa sumungare zoha Begenze, ma begenze, razu sumun gare zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razu sumun gare zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razu sumun gare zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razu sumun gare zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razu sumun gare zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razu sumun gare zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razu sumun gare zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razu sumun gare zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razu sumun gare zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razu sumun gare zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razu sumun gare zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razu sumun gare zoha. Te anda begenze, begenze, ma begenze, razu sumun gare zoha. So having completed the first part of this practice, this mantra recitation, we turn our attention back to the earth and the land, feeling the element, right, of the land as well as the consciousness of the land as the mother. And then I invite you to slowly, carefully begin to imagine as much as one can, right? You don't have to see or feel everything clearly, but just trusting that something's happening is enough. Or returning your attention just to your tailbone, to the root chakra area. And we begin to imagine that the energy of the earth concentrates a little more and it begins to directly move up the chakra alignments, chakra after chakra, beginning with the root chakra, feeling the energy of the earth, the energy of the mother, nurturing, groundedness, stability, beginning to rise up into the root chakra, stabilizing the root chakra, that you now always have access to this experience of home and protection. Now feeling this energy rising up into our second chakra in our pelvis area, feeling the healing from abuse or violence, from the misuse or the manipulation of sexuality, of eroticism and pleasure. May our right to liberatory pleasure be restored with the blessing of the earth. Now feeling this energy rise up into our navel area, the lower stomach, the solar plexus. Feeling the confidence in our capacity to choose what is liberatory be restored. Now feeling this energy rise up into our heart chakras. Feeling the fear of caring dissolve. And feeling this capacity to be involved, to be curious, to be open about the experiences of others, allowing that to really take root. Now imagining this energy rising up into our throat chakra, that we are being blessed with this deep capacity to not just tell the truth, right? But our capacity to be confident in articulating our experiences without shame, without fear. And now imagining this energy rising back into the third eye, to the sacred eye. And may our attunement to the essence of all phenomena, may there be warmth in that attunement. Not just sharpness, but a warmth, a spaciousness. May we see clearly into the nature of things, and may that sight or that clarity be kind and warm and generous for ourselves and for others. Now feeling this energy rising up into our seventh chakra. And may this arising in the seventh chakra remind us that we always have the right, that actually we have never been disconnected from the divine, from the sacred, or from emptiness itself. And I'm feeling this energy rising even higher to actually touch into the experience, the presence of Medicine Buddha above our heads. And that Medicine Buddha becomes connected in this chain of remembrance, of healing, of groundedness, and so forth. Continuing to feel the flow of blessing and light from Medicine Buddha down our chakras into the earth, and also feeling the rising of this Earth Mother energy up through the chakras, up to Medicine Buddha. Feeling the stream of counter streams moving, right? Moving up and down. And then in this visualization, this experience, we return back to the mantra for a few moments. O te anda begenze begenze ma begenze razu sumong ate soha te anda begenze begenze ma begenze 대한다 온백은세 백은세 마백은세 라스 수문가레소하 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 대한다 온백은세 백은세 마백은세 라스 수문가제소하. Now, in this state, I turn my attention to the prayer request again, calling the attention of all the great benefactors, from all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to all of our benevolent ancestors, to all the protectors of the earth and all the elements, and to all benevolent, loving spirits in the universe. We call to you to hold these prayers. May you work on our behalf to bring about the fruition of these prayers. We offer prayers for my son Ethan's health, spirit, and courage that he needs to be safe and well in the multiple sclerosis journey. Prayers for my mental and physical health as well as financial stability. Prayers that I'm able to smoothly and safely navigate through the turbulent transitions I'm currently going through. Offering prayers for Melissa, Judith, Kay, Joy, and Kathy. Prayers for the monks walking for peace. Prayers that we all may remember to love ourselves each and each other deeply, to see our interconnectedness, to bring forth our gifts. Prayers for Bo, Jana, and Lily for healing, transformation, balance in these world systems. Prayers for mental peace and clarity for me when life feels overwhelming. Prayers I can let go of the myth of my own inadequacy. May all beings be free from this. Prayers for M that she can find peace and healing, and especially loving connections in the midst of heartbreak. Offering prayers of all who are doing courageous work of supporting others in these turbulent times. Prayers for the hope and courage and love I see in action. May the benevolent ancestors and guides bless their path as they blaze a new path for us all in love and solidarity and courage. May my heart and the hearts of all sentient beings be uplifted and held in loving kindness. May the truth of our mutual belonging prevail. We're offering prayers for the people of Minneapolis, prayers of protection for the people of Minneapolis, for peace and freedom from oppression. Offering prayers for peace in Greenland, prayers of gratitude to my guides, all the Buddhas, the earth, the ocean, and the other nature beings, ancestors, as well as the angels. Prayers for the success of my book releases. May they find the readers who need them. May they bring me more opportunities and abundance. We're offering prayers of safety and protection for O and D. May they be happy, healthy, and free. Offering prayers for my full freedom, strength, and health, for my next steps and the hard work that's needed. Prayers of emotional and physical strength for all who are being targeted and harmed. May I choose what's right, not just what's right now, and know what that is. Prayers that I and all beings may find a safe home. Prayers that I find a place to recover from chronic health issues. Prayers for friends AA and JP dealing with cancer, disabilities, and crisis. Prayers for Kay, who is in this crisis. Prayers for SJ dealing with financial insecurity and isolation. Prayers for MP, whose parent has recently died. May there be more safety and peace in this world. Prayers that my recent weird blood test results turn out all right and that my recovery continues. Prayers for my father and cousins' upcoming surgeries, and that I find a satisfying and well-paying part-time job as I go back to school and deepen my spiritual and professional path. Prayers for those I work with, may I become the medicines they need. Prayers that I find the next right place for me that's safe and supports my liberation in the most easeful way. And prayers that my offering fills up with the right people. Prayers for all who need to get the resources needed for liberation. Prayers for clear communication. Prayers for those of us experiencing despair and suicide ideation. Prayers for this transition in my grief, and may I transform this pain into medicine for my communities. Prayers that my injuries heal and that I am protected from other injuries so that I can enjoy being in my body. Prayers for Mitch, Nadine, and Elle so that they feel relief and freedom from their health issues. Prayers for Ara, she has a court appearance tomorrow, and there have been barriers to her being able to gather the evidence to get the truth affirmed. Prayers for the liberation of healing of all beings. Prayers for the leaders of the United States that they take action to restore democratic principles. Prayers for my family to wake up the truth of our country and government. Prayers for support and love to find me on this new unknown path. May the path clear up and allow me to clearly see the way that is meant for me. Prayers that I can accept and allow that I am in this life. Prayers for A as he makes a move across the country and finds his way. Prayers that my non-monogamous practice be rooted in kinship building that liberates all those I'm close to and all living beings. Prayers for N and R to be healthy, safe, and well. Prayers for me to follow the path of my personal growth even when it's uncomfortable. May everyone get free. Prayers for Tracy and her family back in Uganda for comfort and protection during instability and strength and abundant joy, raising beautiful boys in this complex time. Prayers for David to be illuminated and have an increased capacity to understand his role. Prayers for John and his recovery. Prayers for my beloveds in Minnesota, Bridget, AP, Heather, Megan, Elizabeth, Amy, Michael, Laura, Sandy, Katie, Melinda, and our dear Eric, who gracefully leads our gatherings with such care. Prayers that I feel ease, well-being, and connection even as my body suffers. Prayers for my knee and leg to heal, and that DUI, and prayers for Wendy dealing with reoccurring ovarian cancer, and for her family, Alex, Sean, and Megan, for healing and comfort for all. Prayers that this new Western medical protocol will assist in healing and eradicating the cancer in my body. Prayers that we become the medicine. Prayers that I may find the relationships, including a romantic one, that will assist me in moving closer to liberation for me and for all. Prayers for all beings, for their safety, courage, healing, and peace. May we all stay safe and live with ease. Prayers for Z, for protection and grounding. Prayers for our mother, the earth, holding all they're holding now and all they've always held. Prayers for travelers, for safety and ease. Prayers for darling Vic, Morning Bart, and for Bart, who just entered the Bardo. Prayers for J and A, for protection and fortitude. Prayers for G, that he is offered meaningful, lucrative employment immediately. Prayers for M and P, while I'm away, that they are cared for with the love and respect they need and deserve. Prayers for protection. Prayers for abundant financial provisions with no strings attached. Prayers for world peace and for the Buddhist monks walking to DC from Texas for world peace, teaching and manifesting for Americans how to do it as they go. Prayers for Megan, may she be healed from her long-term illness. Gratitude for Reverend Martin Luther King for laying down his body for courage, for change. May I live fully and courageously in a way that honors him and all those ancestors who worked for our liberation. Prayers for Lama Rod and his team. Prayers for the healing and liberation of all beings and all of our lineages, both ancestors and descendants, past, present, and future. May we remember we are born free and that our power lies in solidarity. La union, hache, la fuerza. Prayers for the people of Sudan, Palestine, the Congo, Ukraine, everyone impacted by ICE, genocide, oppression, and fascism. Prayers that my oppression and suicidality end and that peace and purpose return to my life, that my inspiration and love of life return so that I can be of service once again. Prayers for all protection and love to surround G. Prayers for peace and clarity, for financial abundance. May I tap into the universal abundance without attaching my value to it. Prayers that I show up exactly the way our collective needs me to in this moment. Prayers for resources and clarity to be steadfast in the struggle for liberation from all beings. Prayers to access joy and fullness of the erotic, even in moments that feel hopeless. And may that deep, wise energy be medicine and freedom for all of us. Prayers that all illusions I've brought into are dispelled. Prayers for courage, tenderness, and the sense of being held by the benefactors. Prayers for fulfillment, the season, creativity, and prosperity. Prayers for Jay so she can find a next career path and is able to embark on the goals she has while in grad school. Prayers for Jay Shri for health and retirement. Prayers for all those resisting ICE. Prayers that conflicted perpetrators awaken as soon as possible. Gratitude for revolutionaries and artists across time. Prayers for healing around the ways I conflate being in a romantic relationship with my value and worth, prayers for the end of all war, prayers for resources to flow in caring and enlivening ways, prayers for focus and clarity on my earthly assignment, prayers for relief from suffering, for the exponential growth of clarity and wisdom, prayers for my brother so he can find a sense of fulfillment, prayers for W as they can pass through this difficult time and find a beautiful home to live in, prayers for energy, prayers for hope, prayers for all beings to be free, prayers for my mother Helena who passed last year, offering prayers for the division among all the people to end, prayers for my broken heart. May I continue to trust the brokenness and receive the care I need, prayers that I be guided and protected as I make big life decisions about employment and housing, prayers to all harmed and terrorized by this administration's actions, prayers for all those coming together to support each other and resist those creating harm, prayers to compost my belief that creative fulfillment and relational, romantic, sexual fulfillment are mutually exclusive, prayers that I, Reverend Yolanda, receive all the resources that I need so that I can move with ease to my new home. Ashe, prayers to be able to ask for blessings, prayers for energy and resources for my own safety, prayers for guidance on my path and clarity for next steps, prayers of gratitude for Lama Rod, Eric, Karen, and the Lama Rod crew, and prayers of protection for us all. Ashe, offering healing wishes for V's father and prayers for V and her whole family. Continued prayers for healing for Ricky Joyner and his wife Diane. Prayers for help with tending and healing with neuropathy in my feet. Prayers to be able to feel the presence of my benefactors and the love of all phenomena that pours out love to all of us all the time. Prayers for Evan as she finds her way towards gender identity that is emancipatory and opens into the full awareness of her true nature. Offering prayers for Charlie that he find peace as he gets closer to the big dream of death. May he remember that he is loving awareness, and offering prayers for world peace. And I offer all the unspoken prayers to the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, all the prayers that weigh in our hearts that we don't know how to articulate. We offer this. We offer prayers that all systems of oppression, subjugation, violence be completely abolished. May we all remember and return back to our awakened state of being. May this happen as quickly as possible. May this be so. And we offer these prayers to all of our benefactors. Again, may you work on our behalf to bring about the fruition of these prayers, and may you bless us that we may also have the tools, the resources to bring about the fulfillment of these prayers as well. May all of this be so now. And so we return back to our mantra practice, and we're gonna just go another 15 minutes, just in case you need to know that. So as we return back into our mantra practice, we return our attention, beginning now, towards the Medicine Buddha, still hovering above our heads. And having received these prayers, Medicine Buddha offers another stream of blessing in the form of white light streaming from their body down into our chakras, seventh chakra, the third eye, to our throat chakra, and binding its way into our heart chakra. And we feel our heart chakra filling with this energy of Medicine Buddha, opening, clearing the karma for healing and transformation to happen. And just for a minute, moving back into the mantra, feeling this awakening, this clearing within our heart centers. O te anda begenze begenze ma begenze raza sumunga te soha te anda begenze begenze ma begenze raza sumunga te soha te anda begenze ma begenze now turning our attention back to the space around us, back to all of our benefactors still holding and protecting the space around us. We begin to imagine that they radiate the energy of care in the form of white light directly into our heart centers. So again, feeling our heart centers awaken with this energy of deep, profound love and care from all the beings in the universe that love us. And in this awakening, we become aware of our own discomfort, our own struggle, in our work of getting free. Everything that we've survived, everything that we continue to survive, and that we will be surviving in the months that are coming. And we also remember that this is the same struggle for all beings. This discomfort, this anxiety, and as we open to the reality of all the members of our collective, we awaken this aspiration that all beings be free from suffering, that all beings be safe and well, protected and resourced. And as we awaken this aspiration, we also imagine that Tara, Mother Tara, begins to awaken within our heart center. And Tara can be a thought, a feeling. And we can imagine the presence of Tara, just like the Taras behind me, awakening within our heart centers, where she is always living as the mother of our liberation and the liberation of all beings. And we turn our attention to mantra, to Tara's just opening, welcoming mantra, Om Matara Soha, which we'll begin to chant just a few times, just for a moment, just beginning to awaken this capacity of deep compassion within this experience of healing. Om Matara Soha, greetings to the Mother. And we begin. Om Matara Soha. 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 Om Matara So and in this moment, we are blessed in our compassion. And we now have this deepened capacity to bless all beings through this awakened compassion. And we imagine that the mother dissolves back into our heart chakras. And so we turn our attention finally to the awakening, the cultivation of protection. And to begin with, we reflect on how we want to be protected, what kind of protection we need, what are we afraid of, what needs to be cleared, how do we need to be held and guarded. And in that reflection, we connect to this confidence, this fierceness, which is rooted in the deep belief that we deserve to be free from harm, that we deserve to be safe. Like all beings, we deserve to be free from harm. And in our heart centers, we feel that confidence, that directness manifests as fire. That fire begins to grow within our heart centers, feeling the warmth of that fire beginning to radiate through our bodies. And slowly we begin to imagine the awakening of the Great Mother, Durga, the great eight-armed fierce mother, the fierce warrior, the protector, like Tara. We feel that confidence, that precise compassion, which is called wrath. And the fire, the warmth of this fierceness of Mother Durga begins to radiate up to Medicine Buddha. And responding, Medicine Buddha begins to radiate this stream, another stream of white light. And as the stream begins to touch us, the stream does not go down into our chakra system, but we begin to experience the stream of energy slowly beginning to coat us, to wrap us, as if we're being dipped into this radiance. And our whole bodies are covered with this white, brilliant light. And we return our attention to our heart centers where Mother Durga has awakened, arising within the fierceness of this fire, this confidence, this wrath, which is only compassion. And she radiates this energy of wrath in the form of fire, and it begins to radiate out from our bodies into this protective coating of light from Medicine Buddha. And as this fire and this energy of Medicine Buddha meet, this energy, this coating becomes our protection, repelling, clearing, cutting through anything that presents itself as harm for us. That we are held by the blessing of all the Buddhas, all the Bodhisattvas, of all the mothers and all the sacred fathers of the earth and the sky, that we carry this protection with the profound consent of the mother. And just for a moment, turning our attention to Durga's mantra, Om Drum Durgaye Namaha, salutations to she, to the mother who is beautiful, to the seeker of truth, but terrible, intense in appearance, to those who would injure devotees of the truth. May this protection be an expression of ultimate truth, and may this light our way towards and to liberation. And we begin. Om Dum Durgaye Yamaha. Actually, is Om Dum Durgaye Namaha, I think. But that's fine. So we begin. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. 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 And now you carry the protection of not just of Mother Durga, but all the great ones, all the champions, all the change makers, all the great ones who touched this world and who achieved awakening in that touching. And may we be connected to the courage, the fearlessness, the love of all these great beings from here unto the end of our journeys, not just in this life, but the end of our journey eventually, as we enter into our remembrance, our complete and total reawakening. and with the blessings of all of my lineages, may this be so. And so we return our attention back to Medicine Buddha, and we offer deep appreciation to Medicine Buddha, to whatever form Medicine Buddha has taken for us in this practice. And we imagine that this appreciation is deeply received by Medicine Buddha, and that Medicine Buddha dissolves into white light, and that white light is absorbed down into our heart centers. We return our attention now to our heart chakras, thanking both Mother Tara and Mother Durga for their protection, for their blessings. And they too dissolve into our heart centers. And we return our attention to all of our benefactors who, like stars, have been holding the space, illuminating this practice. We thank our benefactors for their love and their guidance. And receiving our gratitude, they return back to the places that they came from to hold the space for us. And we offer deep gratitude to the earth for blessing us in this practice. We offer deep appreciation to ourselves, to our bodies, to our minds, to our breath. And we imagine that the radiance from our bodies, that we, the physicality of our bodies, our substance itself, our density begins to dissolve into this light. And our awareness, our boundless, fluid awareness is released, mingling with space and resting within its own emptiness, and allowing ourselves to simply be without distraction, just being, resting, allowing, returning home to our most natural state. And so when you're ready, beginning to re-arouse from the state of non-conceptuality and openness, connecting to the density of our bodies, allowing our bodies to slowly come back into focus, into experience, feeling the weight of our bodies in the seat rising to hold us, still feeling the presence of the earth holding all of us. Connecting to the breath, beginning to add movement back into your bodies. And when we're ready, we just turn our attention to Shantideva's prayer to close out our session, which we will recite 3 times. We begin. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for all those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed, just like space. And the great elements such as earth might always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, might also be the source of life for all the realms of boundless, all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, and a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for all those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth may always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, might also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. And finally, may I be a protector to those without protection, and a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. Thank you all so much for your practice. May you be blessed and may you be held until we meet again. And I hope to see some of you tomorrow night for Blessed Slay as we continue talking about bodhicitta.